Chapter 8, Intimate Dreams. Later that night, your heart pounding with reckless excitement, you quietly slip out of your quarters and into the hall to meet. You made it. Of course, how could I say no to a private tour from the one and only Theo Carter? Theo sweeps into a low, exaggerated bow, offering you his arm. You're very adventurous for a woman of means. Is that a bad thing? No. I like a little adventure, and I plan to take you on one. You slide through your arm through his, and relishing the familiar warmth of his body next to yours as he leads you out into the cool night air. A breeze flutters across the wide, nearly deserted deck as the moon shines down from above. We're starting our tour on the upper decks. I have been here before, quite often, as it happens. But you haven't seen the best part yet. Theo leads you across the deck to a waist-high gate you've never dared to cross before. He leaps over it in a single confident stride, then holds out a hand to you. This way. As you gather your skirts and step over, he takes you by the waist, easily lifting you over the railing. But when he sets you down, his hand lingers at your waist. You steady yourself against him, your pulse racing at their proximity. I'll steal a kiss. After glancing around to ensure you're alone, you do what you've been longing to do since you met Theo in the hall. Kiss him. He immediately responds in kind, cupping your cheek as his lips part yours ever so slightly, just enough to draw out a sigh. Thank you for the assistance. That's one hell of a thank you. Not that I'm complaining. He leads you to the bow of the ship. You stand as close to the edge as you dare, marveling at the vast, dark ocean rolling beneath. This is one of my favorite spots to visit at night. During the day, you can still hear the hustle and bustle, but at night, it's easy to imagine you're sailing on your own, off to chart the horizon. It does almost feel like we have the ship to ourselves. Who goes there? Startled as two officers approach, their expressions as severe as their dark woolen uniforms. Passengers aren't supposed to be here. What if they escort me back to my quarters? Or worse, escort me back and tell Adele who they found me with? Campbell? Hughes? The officers do a double take, their frowns instantly disappearing as they recognize Theo. Well. Who let you out of the boiler room, Carter? You know I go where I want and when I want. Violet Calhoun, meet Lieutenant Malcolm Campbell and Sub-Lieutenant Rory Hughes. It's a pleasure to meet you both. Your worry fades as both officers smile warmly in greeting. 'Tis a beautiful evening for a stroll, isn't it? A thick Scottish accent, which, by the way, I had to reboot this just to do that, clings to the old lieutenant's voice. His fellow officer, who looks closer to your age, chuckles wryly. As long as you don't mind freezing your ears off, that is. He rubs his hands together, giving a theatrical shiver. I hope you don't catch a cold, miss. The wind will cut right through you. Oh, don't worry about me. I come from a hardy stock. The wind is nothing compared to winters in New York. Without snow pouring down, it's practically balmy. With all the grumbling we do about the weather, the captain would appreciate your optimism. Speaking of the captain, you haven't had a chance to ask him for that meeting yet, have you? You mean to meet with the captain of the Titanic? Well, I wouldn't want to meet the captain of the Queen Anne's Revenge. No offense to Blackbeard, of course. You make a wry face at him, stifling an unladylike snort of laughter. We haven't forgotten, but I'm afraid we haven't had any luck yet. Don't worry, Theo. We'll keep trying. And in the meantime, to make it up to you, what would you two say to exploring the bridge for a few minutes? You'd really let us? For the lady here and a friend of his, aye. Hughes and Campbell lead you to a central structure on the deck and let you both inside with a friendly wave. You and Theo step onto the Titanic's bridge. The entire front wall is lined with windows, with navigational instruments gleaming beneath. Ah, good times. Good times, I see. I can't believe we're actually standing here. I promised you a one-of-a-kind tour, didn't I? Yes, but I never expected this. I have no idea what any of these devices even do, besides, well, that steering wheel. That's what I'm here for. His voice alight with eagerness, Theo walks through the bridge, pointing out various features. These two telegraph transmit orders for the speed of the ship to the engine room. That one is for contacting other vessels. The compass barnacle lights up at night so we can easily track the course we're on. I'm sorry, did you say compass barnacle? Binacle. Look, I don't make the nautical terms. I'm just trying to learn them. He points to a chart laid out on a nearby surface. This is one of my favorite parts. You can track the route we've taken so far on this map, and where we're going. As he draws a path across the page, you suppress a shiver, imagining his fingertips running the length of your spine instead. Very, instructional. The compass helps, but a seasoned sailor can find their bearings by... Catching sight of your smile, he trails off. He rubs a sheepish hand over his forehead, looking self-conscious. I'm talking too much, aren't I? No, I love seeing you so passionate. You step over to the chart and rest your hand on his, gazing up through your lashes to meet his sudden intense gaze. It's like you know every inch of this place. When you're passionate about something, it's important to pay attention to details. His gaze flickers down to your lips, and his hand shifts beneath yours so he can lace your fingers together. But we can't leave here without trying the helm. Why don't you give it a shot? And thus why the Titanic went into an iceberg. Thus we know now. At Theo's urging, you approach the helm gingerly, positioning your hands on either side of the large steering wheel. You can feel the power of the churning water below. The wheel shudders as if it wants to slip from beneath your fingers. It's heavier than it looks. That's natural on a ship this big. Just hold it in a good, firm grip. Stepping out behind you, Theo slides a strong hands over yours, steadying the wheel. At the feel of his solid heat pressed behind you, even through your clothing, your breath catches in your throat. Yearning for more contact, you let your back arch a little, pressing yourself against his broad, angular chest. For just a moment, he molds his body against yours, your breath rising and falling together in unison. That feels much better, thank you. As the wheel steadies beneath both of your hands, you feel his chest rumble with a soft laugh. If I'm being honest, this is new for me, too. Nothing like steering a fishing boat back home. Well, it suits you. You make a very dashing captain, guiding the helm. Only because I have you to help me look good. Smile on his face suddenly turns wistful as he turns to look down at you. If I really am a captain, and you didn't have your family to worry about, if we were free to be with each other, where would you want me to take you, if we could go anywhere in the world? Standing in his arms, feeling his warmth surround you, it's easy to imagine a different life. One where we met under brighter circumstances, where we could really, truly be together. Imagine the voyage with Captain Theo. My dream voyage. That depends. Turning to look at Theo, you arch your eyebrows delicately upward. He grins in response, sliding his hands more securely over yours. Despite the chill wind and waves just outside the bridge, you feel perfectly warm in his arms. Before I can pick a destination, I need to know where our voyage started. His fingers subtly caress yours above the wheel. His breath is warm against your ear when he speaks. Meaning in this other version of our lives, how did you meet the famous Captain Theo? Exactly. I think we met at a whirlwind dance. A crowded dance hall full of bodies moving and embracing, but you were the only one who caught my eye. You're a wonderful dancer, so light on your feet. Man slips an arm around your waist, smiling roguishly as he sways ever closer to you, his fingers caressing the small of your back. If you think this is impressive, wait until you see my sea legs. Are you a sailor, then? Yes, and then some. Captain Theo Carter at your service. Violet Calhoun, the pleasure's all mine. Does it have to be all yours? I can think of a few ways to share it. That was kind of smooth. I like it. Although I like the version where I walk in on you half-dressed in your... I did too, but here we are, and we have a chance to be something else to each other. Like what? When we got tired of dancing and I found a private room for us to sit and talk, to steal a kiss, what did we become to each other? A small thrill runs through you at the husky tone of his voice. I became your wife. Why would you dream of being a mistress? I'm just curious. The moment the word leaves your lips, you hastily glance back at Theo, worried it's too much. But then you see a smile lighting up his features as he leans in to press a kiss to the side of your neck. I can picture the day I proposed to you. You can? It was a beautiful summer night. We were traveling. And I had had the ring for days, but I just couldn't wait anymore. So I took you down to the nearest harbor. It's lovely, Theo, but what's so important we had to come down here tonight? This. Red spins with giddy disbelief as he gets down on one knee and pulls a ring from his pocket. Is this really happening? You're everything to me, Violet. I know this ring may not be much, but I'll give you the world if you let me. And if you'll have me. Speechless, your vision blurring with happy tears, you let him slip the ring onto your finger and pull him into a kiss. So that's a yes. Yes. And when the kiss deepens, you find the privacy in a nearby ship to show him all the ways you'll have him, and all the ways he can have you. Violet, yes. You feel an ache at your core as the images fade, but the thought of Theo's hands on you, the love in his voice, remains. That's too forward to imagine? No. He spins you around to press you against the wheel. It's cold against your back, but his gaze is scorching as he captures your lips in a kiss. It's all I can think about. He bends low, his mouth covering yours in a searing kiss. As his tongue slips hungrily into your mouth, all your imagined daydreams fade away, replaced by what you want here and now. The moment you do, Theo leans in, his length behind his trousers pressing against the part of you that aches the most. Violet. He groans as you kiss him again, his hands tugging the fabric of your skirt, hiking it a little higher. But just as you arch in him, the wheel at your back shifts. The deck rocks gently beneath your feet as the ship begins to turn. The wheel! Theo flashes you a rueful grin as you laughingly steady the helm together. I hate to say it, but that might be our cue. Breathless, flushed, you press one more kiss to his cheek, savoring the warmth of his skin. I'm afraid you're right. But after this little stop, I can't wait to see where you take me next, Captain Theo. As you step back onto the deck, Theo points at the 4 red and black pillars that tower over the ship like a New York skyscraper. You see those every night, right? The smokestacks, of course. But when you look at them all the time, it's easy to forget what they're actually for. They let the ship vent the engine's steam, otherwise the engines would overheat and we'd all be swimming in scalding hot steam. The steam comes all the way up here from the furnaces you stoke in the boiler room. Not just me. There are other stokers who work there, you know. Yes, but none of them make me laugh like you do. Hey, Samuel's constantly making me laugh, although most of the time he doesn't mean to. My point stands. Good to know. He leads you along the railing, letting his hand briefly brush yours. You notice a row of white boats arranged on a series of pulleys. These are the lifeboats, I take it, although there aren't very many of them. 20 lifeboats is more than we'll ever need on an unsinkable ship, and as small as they look, they're all seaworthy. Each one can comfortably hold 58 people, and if we open one of these compartments, it taps a snug compartment beneath one of the lifeboat's benches. We'd find enough rations for each of these people. I hear they packed some good things in them, better than the average biscuits. I didn't realize nice biscuits were such an exciting commodity. I appreciate the attention to detail is all, even if no one will ever get to taste them. Now, let me get you out of the cold. You follow him through the third-class halls where he tucks an arm around your waist. The warmth is almost as welcome as the contact. This all looks rather familiar as well. I know, but if you look closer... He opens an innocuous-looking door to reveal what looks like a simple storeroom. Barrels and crates line its walls in neat stacks. This is where bulk goods for the third-class meals are stored. It might seem like nothing, but the simple little room is stocked so carefully that it helps feed 700 people. As you look at Theo, a dizzying, strong wave of affection washes through you. You have a remarkable talent for seeing extraordinary in the ordinary. Have you always been an optimist? He scratches his chin, thinking, if that's what you want to call it, when you aren't born with much, you learn pretty fast to appreciate what you've got. And if you can do that, the world suddenly has a little more shine to it, no matter where you go. You feel the surge of affection again, with Theo smiling at you. The humble hallway feels grander than any ballroom you've ever danced in. I can't thank you enough for sharing it with me. I should be the one thanking you. Being here with you feels like seeing it all over again with new eyes. He reaches out, offering you his hand. You take it eagerly, thrilling at the familiar brush of his calluses against your skin. And I've saved the best for last. Let me show you my favorite spot on the whole ship. You stop by Theo's quarters, where he grabs his fiddle and his case, and then he leads you to... Your favorite place on all the ship is a stairwell? No, this is the famous stairwell. You haven't heard of this? Because I believe this was in the Titanic. This is very... what's the word for it? Pulled from other shit, you know, as I believe where there was a violin in one scene, or, yeah, no, if you've watched enough stuff, you know. Theo laughs, and to your surprise, the warm, joyful sound echoes between the walls, ringing out with surprising clarity. And thus why. I know how it sounds, but I've explored all 10 decks, and the stairwell has the best acoustics in the whole ship. He sits down on a landing, and you sit beside him, the small space leaving only a few inches between your bodies. It's also nice and private. Is that why you're here? So you can play the fiddle? That's at least one of the reasons. His lips curve into an inviting half-smile. Your skin suddenly prickles with excitement. Some nights the sound from here carries all the way to the top decks. There's nothing else like it. He pulls the fiddle from its case and takes it in his hands. Then Theo draws his bow softly across the strings of his fiddle. As you watch, transfixed, the notes transform into a beautiful melody, full of love and longing. Theo, that's the most beautiful song I've ever heard. Does it have a name? Not yet. I'm still deciding what to call it. You composed this yourself? For you. Continues to play, the warmth in his eyes and emotion in each note stirring that longing ache in your heart. And as you watch his fingers confidently move across the neck of the fiddle, you feel another ache entirely. You imagine him touching you with the same confidence, his fingers coaxing, stroking, bringing you to a dizzying crescendo. We're all alone here. Theo showed me how to play. Perhaps he could show me even more. Ask for a private fiddle lesson. With every note that Theo plays, self-consciousness vanishes, replaced by desire and anticipation. You play so passionately. I'd love to know what it feels like to make music like you do. He stills his bow across the strings of his fiddle, looking up at you with sparkling eyes. Do you want a lesson? If you're willing. For you, I'm always willing. Here, come sit in front of me. He obligingly widens his legs, making room for you on the step in front of him. Heart racing at the daring of it, you settle between his thighs. He pulls you a little closer, his solid warmth flush against you. Good. Now you can hold it, and I can adjust your grip from here. I see this position has many advantages. Psst. You asked for tips and fiddles, damn it! He smothers a grin, handing you his fiddle. Your fingers feel suddenly clumsy as his calloused fingers move over yours. The first thing is getting your hands in the right position. Playing the fiddle is all about the correct fingering. Ha! Warm! Can't. Anyway, Theo's warm breath whispers against your neck, sending tendrils of heat spiraling through you at the memory of his confident movements. I'm afraid I don't quite know what is needed. Don't worry, I'll teach you. With deliberate slowness, he arranges your hands on the instrument's neck. Almost. Move your second finger a bit lower. He slides your hand down, the pressure of his touch sparking a delicious friction between your fingers, the string and the resined wood. Here? That's perfect. As he hands you the bow, the brush of his fingers against yours makes your body thrum with barely concealed longing. Now tell me, how do you think the bow should be drawn across the strings? It should be drawn with low, slow strokes. Giggity. Exactly. A good musician listens to what the instrument wants from you. Theo's words are thickly laced with meaning. His heated gaze never leaves yours. You shiver in anticipation, realizing that as you do that, Theo can feel every movement between his thighs. Imagine coaxing the fiddle with your bow, slowly teasing the melody with the strings, and move like this. You adjust your grip on the bow, his work-roughened fingers turning the straightforward motion into a seductive caress. With his help, you draw the bow across the strings, cajoling a few soft notes from the fiddle. I did it! Your pulse leaps with excitement, and with the warmth of his body around you, there's an answering throb between your legs. You're a natural. The affection in his voice stokes that low throb to an insistent ache. Just make sure to give the strings the pressure they need. You have to be gentle, but firm. Yes, firm. At his urging, you draw the bow across the strings and fiddle once more. You've never felt closer to him in every way possible. But when he leans forward, brushing his lips softly across your neck, the bow skitters across the strings in your distraction. Keep wanting to say bow versus bow. No. The mind sometimes is very confused. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Press my head to meet his kiss. Don't apologize. Just kiss me properly. Lowering the bow, you turn eagerly towards Theo, meeting his kiss with equal fervor. As his Brain, are you okay? Tongue slips in your mouth. Minute ago we were thinking of fingers, now it's the tongue, I don't know. As his tongue slips in your mouth, the rest of the world disappears in a rush of heat and wetness and desire. You shiver with longing as his hand slides up your arms, his fingers leaving a trail of heat over your skin as they go. See, we're back to fingers with excruciating slowness. He slips his hands lower, skimming lightly over the swell of your full breasts. I've wanted to do this since the second we got down here. Finding your stiffened nipples through the thin fabric of your dress, he gives them a gentle pinch. Gotta be careful because of you two. You're so soft, so warm. As Theo's kisses grow more fervent, you set the bow and fiddle aside. Still nestled between his legs, you give yourself over to desire as his hands roam over your body. Between your legs, your center is already slick with heat, your body aching with a sharp, desperate need. You remember how his touch felt in the steam room, how much more you'd wished you could have, and you turn to him with a breathless smile. Now that you've shown me how to hold the bow, perhaps you could explain the other elements of correct finger placement. I was planning to, but there's a lot to cover. As he kisses your neck, still pressing close behind you, one of his hands skims down his thumb, tracing across your upper thigh. Where do you want me to start? Wherever you want. As he watches in rapt attention, you slowly gather your skirt, pulling it upward inch by excruciating inch. You hear his breath catch in his chest as slowly, ever so slowly, you widen your legs for him. Violet. You expose yourself fully to his hungry gaze, your womanhood throbbing against your underwear, your body aching for his touch. Just touch me, please. Yeah, well, no. Hi, YouTube, how are you? And just as you're about to reach your crescendo, which is literally what they said, no joke. Hurry along now, children. Time we were all off to bed. Voices echo from several decks up the stairwells, feet clang along the corridors. Both breathless and disheveled, you and Theo reluctantly pull apart from each other. Not so private a lesson anymore, it seems. That's a shame. The children and someone basically gave you blue balls this evening. Your whole body. Oh, for women, what do they call that? Blue ovaries? I don't know how it works. He's thrumming with wanton. Theo looks as eager as you feel, his eyes wide and dark. But I hope you still learned a few things. Oh, yes, it was very educational. You lean in and press a briefcase to his lips as the two of you straighten your clothing. You feel like you're teetering on the edge of release, almost dizzy with new pleasures you felt. If you're willing, I'd very much like to hear the rest of that song. Smiling, he picks up his fiddle once again. You shift to sit beside him, so you can watch, even though it leaves you craving his touch. The rest of the melody is breathtaking as the first. You try to commit each note to memory as the song slows, nearing its end. I still can't believe you wrote this for me. I know it's not much, but it felt like the least I could do. Theo's bow draws one final note from the fiddle, and as it lingers in the air, you remember the spark you felt the day you met. To show you how much you mean to me. It means more than I can say. Remember the way he looked at you then, like you could be royalty or a pauper, and it didn't matter, because he saw past all the trappings on the outside, and he saw you. It's the same way he's looking at you now, and revelation strikes like a bolt from the blue. This isn't just some simple fling for him, it's much more. And it shouldn't be a simple fling for you either. As Theo walks you back to the first-class decks, your head and heart swirl with newfound emotion. Make sure to listen as you fall asleep tonight. I'll be playing for you. I will, and thank you for everything. Quickly checking that the coast is clear, you push yourself up on your toes and press one last kiss to his lips. As you lie in bed later that night, heart full, you could swear you hear the faint strains of a fiddle. Oh, Theo, we have so little time together. Glance towards the sitting room you share with Adele, a reminder of what your family expects when you reach New York, and yet Do I dare tell you that I've fallen in love with you? That's sweet. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description of the video. Plenty of things to check out there. Ways to support the channel, and also ways to become an intricate part of this family, this community that I have grown here. Pretty much we've been doing the content really hard for, what, I think it's 7 years now. Choices has been out for 6. But I have been making content overall on this channel for over 11 years. So, with that being said, I'll say the following. Once again, thank you all for watching. It's appreciated. This was a kind of sweet, besides the little fiddle action that you were the fiddle. Anyway, which I get it. You know, there is romance and then there is desire and lust, and I get that. I get it. Right? I don't know. Just for me, when it comes to things like that, I typically like to only talk about those things or share those things with someone that I'm intimate with, right? Again, it's something that I've just, to this day, I'm kind of still modest when it comes to those things. And in a way, I am kind of glad that YouTube put in the things that they did to kind of block all of it like we used to show on the channel from Diamond Choices. Because I always would be like, okay, here it is, guys, and it's full glory. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that they put in the policies that they did. Because, again, it's just, while I've slowly come out of my shell of, I guess, modesty, we'll call it, in terms of reading this shit, it's just something that I've just never felt fully comfortable with in terms of, you know, putting it out there, and I never wanted my channel to be all about Mount Chicka Wow Wow, and I wanted it to be something that, you know, would continue to grow, that you could continue to look back on fondly, and yada yada yada, right? So, yeah. And then, because of recent events, I look at it as something that, you know, it'll be here forever when I'm not. Right? So anyway, I'll just say this. In regards to this relationship, I get it. Things like this have changed, even though not entirely. There's still, you know, marriages, you know, in a lot of different countries. Remember, there's over 195 different countries in this world. And while there are countries out there that are just, you can marry whoever you want, there are still, you know, I mean, there's a lot of cultures and countries that still do marriages of, you must be of, you know, like an upper caste in India. You can't marry typically a lower, you know, royalty. You must marry someone of royal blood. There's still a lot of that does go on, and there are still a lot of pre-done marriages, especially in places like China and even Japan and places like that, and they still do happen, and it sucks. I mean, some of those people do find love in those marriages, but I don't know. I just believe that you should go with your heart, right? And I am definitely a person who believes in the simple things of, like, I'm talking, just to back up what I'm saying. I'm a person who, anyone and everyone that knows me, right, knows that I don't eat things with a lot of condiments, if any condiments whatsoever. Fries, no ketchup. Sometimes I'll eat a hot dog plain on a bun, but sometimes, you know, yeah, I'll indulge and be like, you know what? Maybe barbecue? Yeah, I'm one of those people. A little bit of barbecue sauce, maybe some ketchup. I'm not much of a huge mustard person. I've opened up a little in my ears, but not much. But like relish, ketchup, barbecue. And it's so far and few and in between, and there's not a lot of times that I even use condiments on food because it takes away from the food you've cooked. And, like, I believe everyone should enjoy the small things. Whether you can enjoy a bunch of condiments and you've got your relish and you've got your ketchup and mustard and you're just piling it on, and onions and cheese, and you just want as much as you want. Sometimes it kind of, you've lost the flavor of the hot dog, right? You've lost the flavor of it. You no longer taste the hot dog, you're tasting everything else, right? You might as well just put the condiments in your mouth, right? Like there are some people I know that do that, and I just don't understand those people. They just do not enjoy the good things of life, and I definitely encourage people to do that, to just enjoy the simple things in life. And whether it be just a simple food or a simple drink or things like that, enjoy the simple things in life, right? It's like all these people that go out and buy, the really expensive designer purses and everything. What is the point of that? I don't understand it. Because you can go out and buy a $30 or even $50 bag. Ladies, I'm looking at you. Or a small wallet or whatnot versus these big bags with the gold lettering on it and, spend thousands of dollars. It's like the people that go out and buy torn jeans for hundreds of dollars. It's like, but you can go buy a $30 or $50 pair of jeans. Just wear it a little. It'll tear on its own, right? I don't know. Just some people are weird to me. But again, not shaming. If you're into that, you're into that. If you're not, you're not. I'm just a person that enjoys the simple things in life. So, once again, thank you all for watching. Love your beautiful faces. And, yeah, catch you later. Peace out.